Coronaviruses are envelope positive stranded RNA viruses, and the coronavirus responsible for COVID-19 is called the beta coronavirus, same category as the severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS virus, and as well as several of the bat coronary virus, but in a different category. The Coronavirus International Committee, Taxonomy Committee, named specifically as is the severe acute respiratory syndrome virus 2, which is SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, and now became a pandemic and continues to devastate the lives of many people all over the world. So today I will discuss the vaccine I got to help dampen this viral disease, and at the same time I still continue to do my hand hygiene by water and alcohol, face mask, distance, of course. Good day everyone to my beautiful people all over the world. Assalamualaikum, namaste. Kumusta po sa lahat? Ultimately, if this is your first time in this YouTube channel, the reason I started this is to share my knowledge on how to balance your life, work, and family. It is hard right now. It is harder right now because of the pandemic, but try to at least take care of yourself. I'm not expert on this, but some of my knowledge I acquired over life experiences and also work experiences, and just doing complementary therapies of yoga and meditation, and also just listening to the Dalai Lama and the Sadhguru as well. So I am also doing the things that I like to do at this time, and I have the Bedouin Relief Fund that I temporarily started. I'm still collecting money for that just through GoFundMe. I was able to go in December, used some of that money to actually pay for 1 month's worth of food, and the stray animals as well I helped, and also Gaza camp. Most of what I have presented so far is about travel, and which helps me look at the whole world and the different cultures, helping as much as I can, but also making sure I take care of myself, you take care of yourself. So I got the vaccine, which is the Pfizer vaccine as of this week. Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are available in 2 doses. The last one being the booster shot. Johnson & Johnson is, and the Astra Zeneca with 1 shot only are still under the review from the Food and Drug Administration, and hopefully will be approved pretty soon so we can all vaccinate everyone. The available vaccines as of this week are the Pfizer and the Moderna with 2 doses. Healthcare workers and people who are more than 65 years old are currently getting it. There are shortages, but they are being rushed now. The Pfizer vaccine, it's also called the BioNTech COVID-19 BNT162b2 vaccine, was approved by the FDA, 2 doses, 3 weeks apart. So the Pfizer vaccine after effect, the local injection site or systemic reactions during the 7 days after vaccine were frequent and mostly mild to moderate. The systemic adverse reactions were more common after the second dose than after the first one, and were generally more frequent and severe in people aged 18 to 55 years old than in those aged more than 55 years of age. Systemic adverse reactions had a median onset of about 1 to 2 days after the vaccine and resolve in a median of like 1 day. Several local and systemic adverse reactions happened also, more commonly in vaccine recipients than in placebo recipients. Fatigue, about 4.2%, headache of 2.4%, muscle pain of 1.8%, chills were 1.7%, and the injection site pain was 1.4%. The Moderna vaccine, also called mRNA 1273 vaccine, was approved by the FDA 2 doses 4 weeks apart. The Moderna vaccine, the local injection site or the systemic adverse reaction during the 7 days after were frequent but mostly mild to moderate. Systemic adverse reactions were more commonly reported after the second dose, just like the Pfizer, and were more frequent and severe in people aged 18 to 64 years old than in those aged more than 65 years old. Most local and systemic adverse reactions occurred within the first 1 to 2 days after the vaccine and resolve in like a median of 2 to 3 days. Severe local or systemic adverse reactions happen more commonly in vaccine recipients than in placebo recipients during their study, and the frequency of serious adverse events observed was low in both the vaccine. 1%, and the placebo was also 1%. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are made using a newer technology called the messenger RNA. That's the messenger from the DNA. The mRNA vaccine works by encoding a portion of the spike protein found on the surface of the SARS-CoV-2. And the vaccine used pieces of this encoded protein to make the immune response in your body. Then your antibodies to SARS-CoV-2 formed. Once the body maintains that immune response, both the protein and the messenger RNA are eliminated while the antibodies stay around in the body to protect you in the future. For now, we don't know when we need the next vaccine again. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that is still under review and could be available in March or April. 1 dose only, at least for now. The DNA vaccine in Johnson & Johnson, based on the virus's genetic instructions for the building the spike protein, unlike the Pfizer and Moderna, which store the instructions in a single-stranded RNA, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses the double-stranded DNA from a virus called adenovirus. The DNA in the adenovirus, after the vaccine is injected, the adenovirus goes into the cells and attach onto the proteins. The cell then engulfs the virus in a bubble and pulls it inside, and then the adenovirus gets out of the bubble and then goes to the nucleus of the cell and the chamber where the cell's DNA is stored. The messenger RNA leaves the nucleus from the cell to do the translation for genetic coding from the DNA. They start assembling the spike proteins, and the vaccinated cells also break up some of the proteins into fragments, and go on their surface, and these spikes and spike protein fragments can then be recognized by the immune system. When a vaccinated cell dies, the debris has spike proteins and fragments that can then be cleaned up by the immune cell, and the cell shows fragments of the spike protein on its surface. And then when other cells called helper T cells see these fragments, and helper T cells helps out. Other immune cells called B cells, they show up into the coronavirus spikes on the surface of the vaccinated cells or the spike protein fragments, and some of the B cells may be able to use to attach onto the spike protein, and if these B cells are then turned on by the helper T cells, they will start to be activated, and then they pour out antibodies that target the spike protein. The Astra Zeneca coronavirus vaccine is 1 dose, but this is under review. The genetic material has been added to the ChAdOx1 construct used to make proteins from the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus called spike glycoprotein. And these proteins usually found on the surface of SARS-CoV-2 and plays an essential role in the infection pathway of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Reporting is the report to the Vaccine Adverse Effect Reporting System, which is called VAERS, is available at this website. And the CDC also has developed a new voluntary smartphone-based tool called vSafe that uses text messaging and web surveys to provide near real-time health check-ins after the patients receive COVID-19 vaccination. The CDC also will have to review that and will call you for further information. And this is also the website. Any deaths associated with the vaccine, most 90.9% during the first month of the vaccination program. 90.9% VAERS reports were for non-serious events, local and systemic symptoms, transient local and systemic reactions, reports of anaphylaxis, and the occurrence of it during the analytic period. 4.5 cases per million doses administered is within the range reported after the receipt of the inactivated influenza vaccine, which was 1.4 per million, pneumococcal polysaccharide vaccine, which was 2.5 per million, and live attenuated herpes zoster vaccine was 9.6 per million. And then 113 reports of death after COVID-19 vaccinations. 2/3 of these deaths occurred in long-term care facilities with underlying medical conditions and usually happen during the first month of the vaccination program. Otherwise, deaths being reported do not have a causal relationship with the vaccine. There were 3 limitations to the reporting. One was that the analysis are passive surveillance and reporting biases are possible, both from underreporting or compliance with reporting requirements. Number 2 is that long-term care facility residents might have been undercounted. And then number 3 is that the V-Safe, underrepresented or generalizable, they are self-enrollment program requiring smartphone access, and that all vaccination locations might not have offered equal access to the enrollment. As a summary then, the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines, which send the messenger RNA into muscle cells to the body to produce an immune reaction to the coronavirus spike protein, seem to have higher efficacy than the other vaccine, although the others are still getting approved. Thank you to everyone. That's it for now. I will see you guys again either in the next adventure or in the next series of anything you want to know. Thank you. I have a 1:30 appointment. Just waiting for my vaccine. The first one. Today is January 28th. Okay, got confirmed. I'm getting the vaccine. Okay, I'm going to lane 7. Drive-through vaccine station. Okay, they just confirmed that I'm receiving the vaccine. Getting the vaccine.
The card says that you'll be back here on the 18th. Don't lose this card because this is your only proof that you're supposed to be here. Oh, yeah. You should get a text or email to tell you the time to show up. Okay. If by chance you don't get that text or email to tell you the time to show up, you show up anyway, sometime between 9 and 4. Okay?
All right. Okay. There you go. I know I take yours. You're good.
So we're going to watch you for 15 minutes, okay?
Okay. You're good.
Thank you.
How many did you do today already?
A whole lot. You have a great day, okay?
Okay, they're going to observe us here for 15 minutes. There's everyone being monitored. Second vaccine, the last dose.
With the first dose, did you have any reaction to it? Any
No,
symptoms?
I didn't.
You didn't have anything?
No.
Oh, sure. Look what happened to me. I'm gonna get it now.
Oh.
Even though you didn't have anything with the first one, from what people have been reporting,
I know.
with the second dose, you
Yeah.
might have some symptoms.
I know.
My advice for you is to drink a lot of water.
YouTube.
Okay, I'm just mentioning you, okay? Yeah. You should drink a lot of water, keep yourself hydrated. And if you feel like the pain is too much for you, call your doctor.
Okay, now they have to watch you here for a couple minutes. Got the vaccine.